Chapter 6 deals with attribute data. In this chapter, we should answer the question, what is a table? You can recognize a table by understanding the structure. A table is made up of fields which are shown as columns and records that are shown as rows. Consider two types of tables. Attribute tables, which are stored with GIS data, storing special fields for the spatial data layer. Standalone tables are not associated with spatial data. Standalone tables can store any tabular data and are available in a wide variety of formats. We can get answers from computers by asking questions. Those questions are called queries. A query is a question written specifically so that a computer can provide an answer. Look at these examples. The answers will be in the form of selected records. Our queries must be structured properly, and we call that structure SQL, Structured Query Language. ArcGIS is packaged with an excellent query dialog box that can develop the SQL for us. We can use the operators and or to ask multiple questions at the same time. In this case, records having Alabama or Texas found in the state field will be selected. In the second example, records having a value above 5,000 but less than 10,000 in the value field will be selected. Sometimes you want to match partial strings of text. In this case, you use the like condition along with wildcard placeholders. The wildcard placeholder is an asterisk for geodatabase feature classes, but it's a % for shapefiles. In this case, the computer reviews all the records and select those whose name field includes a capital D. Notice the % wildcard placeholder before and after the capital D. The second example asks the computer to search all the records and select those where the word new followed by a space found in the name field. This type of query is case sensitive. There are many reasons to write queries, and there are a number of things you can do with the records selected from a query. A few of the things you can do with the selected records include create a new layer, calculate statistics, calculate new values, generate reports. The real power of GIS comes from the ability to join and relate tables. This means you can join standalone tables to spatial data tables that you can map the standalone data. To join two tables together, you must identify and specify a common join field. This is a field which will have the same values in both tables. that can be used to link the tables together. Joins are temporary relationships stored in databases or map documents. They have a common join field, often called a key. The join combines the two tables together without affecting the original tables. The basic join is when there is one-to-one relationship between the tables being joined. This means that one record in the destination table matches one record in the source table. These are the types of cardinality of joins that can be accomplished with ArcGIS. The rule of joining is that each record in the destination table must match one and only one record in the source table. A one-to-many relationship violates the rule of joining. When you need this situation, you can use relate instead of join. Sometimes when joining tables, not all the records have a match. In those cases, the values are given a null value. Relates are similar to joins, except the tables remain separate. When one item is selected in a table, the related items are also selected in the other table. Relates are not bound by the rule of joins. To join tables together, right-click the destination layer and select Joins and Relates. Pick Join and start at the top of the Join Data dialog box and simply read and set the options to your desired choices. As much as you don't want to, you need to read the options. In this case, the USA table is related to the Congressional District table. When a state is selected, the congressmen are highlighted in the related table. Another powerful tool is the ability to generate summary statistics. Summarizing means grouping records together to determine totals, averages, and other characteristics. You can summarize all the records or only selected records. In this case, we can summarize the subregions to get the populations per subregion. The first step to summarizing is to right-click on the fields you want to use to group the data with. You can select from any of the available statistics. Keep in mind, you are actually creating a standalone table with this tool. The computer searched through all the records looking at the subregion field. It combined all those with the same values in those fields. It counted how many records were found for each different subregion and summed up the total population for each different subregion. Remember, this is a standalone table. There are no features to show on a map. How can you show this information on a map? That's right, you can join the summarized data to the states layer Remember, you will need a common join field. In this case, that field is subregion. We often work with tables using ArcMap or ArcCatalog. All tables, regardless of their format, are displayed and manipulated with this interface. Some common standalone table formats include Excel worksheets, text files, either tab or comma delimited, DBase files, and records from other database management systems. Spend some time to get familiar with the ArcMap interface. The Options menu and right-clicking the field name is how you access the tools. The status bar also gives important information such as how many records are in a table and how many records are selected. The tables are displayed on their own tab. To view more than one table at a time, such as when you need to find a common join field, you will have to tile the tables either horizontally or vertical. You can find this in the Options menu. Commands issued through the Options menu only affect the current or active table. You can adjust the column width of fields. Just hover over the field break to get the double arrow, then drag. You can make adjustments to the table in the Layers properties on the Field tab. Here, you can set the fields to display or not. You can rearrange the field order, apply formats, and alias names. In the table interface, you can right-click a field name and select Properties to view and adjust its properties. You can adjust the formats of the fields. Turning on the Show Thousand Separator in this case makes it easier to read and understand the numbers. You can adjust how the table looks, including font style, size, and color. You can also control the colors for the selected records. In my years of using GIS, the default table appearance has always been just fine for me. Sorting the tables can help quickly identify the largest or smallest values or find a particular word in alphabetical order. Sorting does not affect the original data in any way. When you want to ask the computer a question, use Select by Attributes in the Options menu or in the Select pull-down menu. The question must be in the form of SQL, but you can use the dialog box and pick to make your selection criteria. When looking at a table, often it's helpful to only see those records that are selected. Use the Show Only Selected Record switch next to the Record Selector tool beneath the table. Once you are finished with your selected records, you can clear the selections from either the Table Options menu or the Selection pull-down menu. You can add new fields to your attribute tables by selecting Add Field in the Table Options menu. You want to know what type of field you're creating. Once the field type has been specified, you cannot change it. When designing a table or adding a field, you must be aware of the field types and what they mean. What is the difference between a short and long integer? What is the difference between a float and short integer? So understanding your data is very important. Which field would you use for state name or inspection date? Spend some time with this chart. When adding several fields, it's easier in ARC Catalog. Remember to assign the correct field type. If you have any questions, give me a call or send me an email. Thanks.